Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 12th of September. Starting off with actual experience, where we've had a nice sideways shuffle around or along a rising 50-day moving average, so expecting a bounce quite soon. Initial target here at 1.05 pence at the 200-day moving average, and then maybe up to 1.6 pence by the end of next month if everything goes well. If you're cautious, you probably wait for at least an end-of-day close through 0.8 just to see that we're back on track after the rather nasty pullback from that July peak. Moving along to Atome, and here the situation is that we've had follow through after yesterday's unfilled gap to the upside, bear trap gap reversal, so at least the charting worked there. Initial target here was around 101, and above 101 we were looking for £1.15, which hopefully we will get over the next week or so, and maybe the way things are going over the next day or so. But the key here, holding above that 200-day line around £1. Onto a stock which I've been covering quite a lot recently, maybe too much. Today's RNS delivered the goods for the shares. We hit the top of that rising trend channel at 13 pence for Cornerstone. That's been in place for quite some time, and we already had the hint that we could head higher than that. Above 13.3 pence on an end-of-day close basis would hit that April resistance line projection at 16 pence by the end of this month. The gap today gives us an island reversal. We've got a rising 50-day line as well, but hoping here that we'll stay above 12 pence to get that 16 pence over the course of the rest of September. Onto a stock which has been a bit of a problem child over the recent past, but it looks as though eStar still has a rising trend channel base. The shares have seen that line there from back in June around 1.75 pence. Above that we could hit 2.6 pence as soon as the end of next month. I suppose if you're cautious you might wait for an end of day close above the 50-day line, now rising at rising at 2 pence. But I think enough has been done there to put in a base. On to a stock which has been in rather good fettle over the recent past, Empire Metals, and here first finding support near the 4 pence level, then 4.5 recently, and above 4.5 we're looking for up to 7 pence by the end of next month. Just trying to work out exactly where that upper parallel is. If it is a more optimistic slant, then we could be up to 7.5 pence by the end of next month, but the key here is holding around the 4.5 pence area, and especially above the 50-day line, currently around 4.2 pence. Potential recovery situation is coming up in the form of Great Western Mining. Here we had a rather nasty gap down in July, but the shares have had a sideways shuffle. High lows above 0.04 pence, and want to see this market break that line of resistance there from April around 0.06. Above that we can move to fill the gap by the end of next month up to 0.08 as a best case scenario target. On to Hvivo, which blew the lights out today with its update. Not surprising, it's been on fire basically all year with the contracts at least, and here we've had an unfilled gap to the upside, breaking the August resistance at around 19.25 temporarily. The view now is that the longer we stay above the 50-day line at 17 pence, the greater the chance of a move towards the top of that rising January trend channel at 26 pence, maybe by the end of next month. But at least we look as though we are on a decent trajectory there. On to Kefi, the punter's favourite, and today reasonably good reception to the RNS, unfilled gap to the upside yesterday, and pushing to the 200-day moving average today. The previous target here was 0.7, above 0.7 we're looking for 0.88, so an end of day close above 0.7 could be the trigger for a move up to filling that gap down that we had back in May. Ideally we stay above the recent gap, the early September gap around 0.6 pence, so that we can then head up towards 0.88. Light Science is next, and another stock which has been championed here quite a lot, above the 200-day line at 2.6 pence, still looking for the shares to fill that gap up to 4 pence from back in April, and a nice sort of V-shaped formation here above that 200-day line, giving us confidence that the shares are ready to head towards 4 pence. A rather risky, tricky situation comes next, but so far today, Mode doing well. We already spotted the V-shaped bull flag that the shares had going into September, and we finally broken that late August peak 2.3 pence. Above that, we've always been looking for around 3.4 pence. Hopefully we'll get that over the next week or so, or maybe a bit sooner. But the key here, holding above 2.3 pence, I think that would do the trick on mode. On to Oracle Power, which has had decent RNS today. Unfull gap to the upside so far today. We need to have an end-of-day close really above the 50-day line, around 9.5, let's call it. Bullish divergence there as well, so hopefully this will mark a near-term low for the shares around the 0.08 level. If we can clear the 50-day line for the first time since back in February, then we could be retesting the 0.14 or 0.15 area at the top of that broadening triangle from May, but early days yet on Oracle. Well, the horrible charting situation coming up next in the form of Revolution Beauty. Basically, the shares have been in a range between 25 pence and 36 pence, and the reason for inclusion today is we're hoping with a key reversal up and the rebound off August support, the shares will then head back to the top of the range at 36 pence by the end of next month. Probably the worst case scenario is that we lose the 200-day line there at 21.5, but at the moment that doesn't seem very likely. One of the stranger rallies of the recent past has been Regtech. We were originally looking for 260, and we got that by quite some margin, and now it's a matter of trying to work out where the next destination will be, probably up to the resistance line or the upper parallel that I'm drawing here. So guessing that the top of the price channel there from back in August is heading towards 370, and maybe we'll see that by the end of this month while we remain above 260. So let's see if the technicals work there. Rather strange contender coming up now in the form of Silver Bullet. A cool name, obviously, but we gapped up on the stock at the early part of last month and we pushed higher in the last couple of days. Want to see a nice end-of-day close above 45 pence, which was resistance on the way down. If we can do that, maybe we could head up to 85 pence by the end of next month. And if you're cautious, you might wait for a 200-day moving average break at 49, but looks like the shares are on their way with that bear trap gap reversal from last month. I interviewed Wildcat Petroleum during the week, and here we've got a situation where the 50-day line is just starting to rise now. We've been looking for 0.7 on the shares after the break of the 50-day moving average in the low 30s. Above the 50-day line, looking for 0.7, hopefully by the end of next month. Finishing off with a requested stock, Zenova, and here we had the double bear trap gap reversal back in July. Shares have been able to drift above the rising 50-day line ever since, which is pretty impressive, and we're looking for 9 or even 9.5 pence by the end of next month while we remain above that 50-day line at 4.9 pence. Rising trend channel base from back in April and looking quite healthy after that turnaround, which is especially strong after the gap down that we had back in April and the bullish divergence with a lower low for June, July, but higher RSI trace. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.